From the moment Amara learned to speak, she questioned everything, especially her mother's choice, and the biggest mystery of them all, how her beautiful, graceful mother, Mama Ngozi, could have ever married her short, round, loud, and clumsy father, Papa Chike. Mama, Amara would say with a dramatic sigh, "You, a queen, married that man?" And every time Mama Ngozi would smile and reply softly, "One day you will understand, my child." But Amara wasn't one to stop there. She would whisper to her friends at school, "If you see my papa, you will think he's a village clown, always wearing that same brown wrapper and scratching his bare head." They would laugh until tears rolled down their cheeks. As Amara grew, the teasing became sharper. At family events, she would joke loudly, "Mama, you must have been under a love spell to marry Papa." And Papa Chike, ever the good sport, would grind and say, "My daughter, love is sweeter than beauty." Mama Ngozi was elegant, embodied, a tall, radiant woman whose laughter charmed even the coldest heart. Papa Chike, on the other hand, was rough around the edges, a taxi driver whose jokes could empty a room or fill it with belly-aching laughter. By her early 20s, Amara had made a secret vow: "I will never marry a man like Papa." Her standards were sky high. She wanted tall, handsome, well-spoken, sophisticated man. A man who would glide through life, not stumble like her father. And above all, someone with class. Then came Emeka, the perfect man, a banker with a polished accent, always in crisp suits, and with a car that smelled like vanilla and leather. From the moment they met at her cousin's wedding, Amara was smitten. Amara believed this was the man for her. Emeka was everything her father wasn't: worldly, eloquent, rich, handsome-looking guy. He took her to fancy restaurants, sent her flowers, and whispered sweet words in her ear. Finally, Amara thought, "I have proven Mama wrong." One morning, she told her parents, "I have found the one." Her parents were so happy. Her father asked, "Hope he is a good man." Amara answered, "He is a special man." Her mother asked, "Special in what ways?" She said, "He is handsome, rich, and speaks good English." Her mother was not too convinced, but she wished her daughter well in her newfound love. At their engagement party, her father raised a glass and said with a twinkle in his eye, "My daughter has chosen her prince, but remember, my dear, it is the heart of a man that matters most." Amara rolled her eyes. Old village wisdom, she thought. Mama Ngozi, however, watched silently, her eyes lingering too long on Emeka. Later that night, she pulled Amara aside. "My child, be sure to see a man beyond the glitter. Some diamonds are coated with dust, and some dust hides true diamonds." Mama, Amara laughed. "Times have changed. I'm not marrying a palm wine tapper or a taxi driver. I love him and he loves me too. I am not saying you should marry a palm wine tapper or a taxi driver." Mama Amara said, "Well, I wish you well." She sighed and said no more. Their wedding was the talk of the town. Emeka dazzled everyone with his charm and eloquence. Amara glowed in her white gown. Papa Chike danced like a child, making guests roar with laughter. But as the honeymoon phase faded, the cracks began to show. Emeka, once attentive, became distant. He started coming home late, smelling faintly of perfume that wasn't Amara's, shouting at every little discussion at home. Amara was shocked. "Is this the man I got married to? Or what? I don't understand," she said. After a year, the marriage was just like two roommates living under the same roof. Emeka comes back from work straight to bed. He doesn't carry out his husband duties at home or ask after her. Amara, at first, she told herself it was work, but the excuses grew thin. One evening, as she waited with a loving, prepared meal, Emeka arrived and glanced at the food with disdain. "Why must you always cook this village woman's food?" he said. Amara's heart sank. The same dishes that once made him smile now earned her mockery. Amara quickly flared up. What is your problem? I have been enduring all you have been doing to me since we got married. I have been patient enough with this your attitude. He stood up and walked away, leaving Amara in the sitting room. Amara, is this the man who once spoke sweet words, now delivered biting insults? Amara was determined. She would not fail at marriage. She would make this work. I will try my best. I will prove my parents wrong. She began hiding the pain, posting on a smile for friends and family. When her mother asked gently, "How is your husband?" she would reply brightly, "He's wonderful." Mama Amara said, "But you don't look happy." Amara said, "I am fine." But the facade crumbled one rainy night. Emeka stormed in, drunk and raging, without reason. She called him to come and eat his food politely, but to Amara's surprise was a slap across the face. The room spun. The pain wasn't just physical, it shattered her pride, her dreams. The next morning, bruised and broken, Amara packed a small bag and ran to her mother's house. Mama Ngozi opened the door, eyes wide with alarm. Without a word, she pulled her daughter into a tight embrace. "What happened?" Mama Amara asked. Amara was filled up with uncontrollable tears. Her mother was shocked on all what Amara told her about her husband. For 3 days, Amara cried. Words failed her. She couldn't believe that her glorified marriage failed right before her very presence, after all the effort she has put into it. Papa Chike sat by her side silently, his large rough hand patting her back gently, saying, "My daughter, life teaches us more than words ever can." On the 4th day, Amara finally whispered, "Mama, Papa, I mocked you so much. I thought I knew better, but now I know better." Mama Ngozi wiped her tears. "My child, love is not about a man's looks or wealth. Your father taught me kindness, patience, and laughter. He makes my life rich." Papa Chike chuckled. I may not have a banker's suit, but I have a heart that beats for your mother." Papa Chike said, "Never you marry a man because of your selfish reasons. If not, you will see how selfish man can be at the long run." Amara wept harder, not just for her bruises, but for her blindness. With her parents' gentle guidance, she began healing. She fought for divorce, facing shame from some relatives, but unwavering support from Mama and Papa. Emeka never for one day asked about her. He did not call or come to visit her. Amara started her new life, this time with deeper eyes. Amara built a thriving career as an event planner, but when it came to love, she was cautious. One day, while organizing an event, she met Ikenna, a simple man with a crooked smile and warm eyes. He wasn't tall, he wore jeans and calloused hands. But he listened, he laughed, he cared. At first, Amara hesitated. Memories of Emeka haunted her. But slowly, Ikenna's gentle spirit broke through her walls. When she was sick, he stayed by her bedside. When her car broke down, he fixed it without complaint. When her old fears surfaced, he held her hand and said, "You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be you." Their love wasn't flashy, but it was deep-rooted in respect and kindness. One bright morning, Ikenna proposed in a restaurant. No grand gestures, just heartfelt words. "I will never promise perfection, but I'll promise love and loyalty." Tears streamed down Amara's face. "Yes," she whispered. At their small wedding, Papa Chike gave a speech that drew laughter and tears. "My daughter once mocked her mother for marrying me, but life is the greatest teacher. Now she knows that a good heart shines brighter than gold." The crowd erupted in applause. Mama Ngozi caught Amara's eye and smiled knowingly. Later that night, as they danced under the stars, Amara leaned into Ikenna's arms and whispered, "Now I understand why Mama chose Papa." Ikenna smiled. "And why you chose me." Years later, with 2 children of their own, Amara would laugh telling them the story. "Once upon a time," she would begin, "I thought love was all about looks and wealth, but your grandfather taught me otherwise." Papa Chike, now grayer and rounder, would wink. See, the old fool knew something after all. Years passed like the gentle flow of a river. Amara's life with Ikenna blossomed not into perfection, but into something real, where love was tested and strengthened. There were hard days, days when Ikenna returned home weary from his taxi work, shoulders heavy with life's burdens, days when their little children wailed through the night and left them sleep deprived and irritable. But through it all, there was laughter, the kind of laughter that echoed through their home and softened even the hardest days. One rainy night, as thunder rolled in the sky, Amara sat by her husband, her heart swelling with gratitude. She turned to Ikenna and whispered, "Do you know I once thought I knew what love was?" Ikenna chuckled, "And what do you know now?" "I knew nothing," she replied softly, "and that choosing you was the best unplanned wisdom of my life." Papa Chike and Mama Ngozi grew older, their bond only deepening. Papa's hair thinned to silver wisp. Mama's back bent slightly with age, but their hearts beat in perfect rhythm. One crisp Harmattan morning, the whole family gathered for Papa's 70th birthday. Amara had planned a surprise party. As the family sang and clapped, Amara stood up with a glass in her hand, voice trembling with emotion. "I used to mock my mother," she began, the room falling into a hush. "I used to think she married beneath her worth. But today, I thank God for the lesson she taught me, not with words, but with the life she lived." She turned to her father, eyes shining. "Papa, you are the richest man I know, not in money, but in love, in loyalty, and in laughter." Tears welled up in Papa's eyes. In a rare moment of vulnerability, he whispered, "My daughter, now you are the teacher." The room erupted in applause and warm embraces. Even the uncles and aunties who once looked down on Papa Chike now regarded him with newfound respect. Later that evening, as Papa and Mama danced slowly under the stars, Amara leaned against Ikenna's shoulder and said, "I hope we will be like them one day." And so the legacy continued, generation to generation, a lesson not of bitterness, but of gratitude and hope. Moral lesson. The story teaches us that true love and lasting happiness are not found in outward appearances, wealth, or social status, but in the inner character of a person, their kindness, loyalty, patience, and respect. Amara's youthful arrogance blinded her to the simple yet profound qualities that made her parents' marriage strong and joyful. It wasn't until she endured her own painful experiences that she came to understand the depth of what her mother always tried to teach her. Secondly, this story reminds us that life is the greatest teacher. Some lessons cannot be learned through words or warnings, but must be experienced firsthand. Through her marriage, struggles, and eventual healing, Amara gained wisdom and humility, allowing her to grow into a more compassionate and discerning person. The story highlights the importance of valuing the essence of a person over fleeting attractions. In a world that often prioritizes image and material success, this timeless lesson calls us back to what truly matters in relationships: integrity, love, and shared values. Amara's transformation shows that when we choose partners with good heart, we build lives that withstand the storms of life. Finally, the story encourages us to honor and learn from the wisdom of our elders. Often, the experiences of our parents carry truths that we may not yet grasp in our youth. By listening with an open heart and learning from their journeys, we can avoid repeating their mistakes and appreciate the quiet strength that true love brings into our lives. Thanks for watching our videos. Please subscribe, share, like, and comment. Thanks. Bye.